Yeah, dead air. Like it. Hello there, metal people, and welcome to yet another edition of everybody's favorite heavy metal podcast on the internet. Well, at least it's the only one that I listen to. That's right, boys and girls. We're back yet again. This is the Metal Hammer of Doom podcast. I am your usual co-host, right now regular host. Wasn't sure if Jesse was going to talk or I was going to talk. We didn't really talk this out. So, the person talking right now is me, the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper. I used to write the the Hammer of Doom news report on Thorn1Mania.com. And, I do this podcast as well as a few others and teach fourth graders. So, yeah. Awesome. I have a co-host that you heard laughing a second ago. His name is Jesse Starcher. He's really cool. He does comic book and sports podcasts, two things that kind of sort of go together, I guess. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man. Sorry it took me so long to get the show started there. Yeah, like you said, we didn't really talk it out a whole lot, but by golly, we started at a little bit after 10. That's all right.
10-ish.
10-ish.
10-ish. I mean, hey, this is going to be a fun album anyways, because I have a feeling I feel like we're talking more about this album less as a song-by-song basis, but more as a thematic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, since Jesse has introduced himself and I have hinted the fact we're doing a review, why would we be here otherwise? The album that we're going to be reviewing tonight is A Turkey for Your Thanksgiving Pleasure. That's right, we were going to review something good, and then I was like, Jesse, why don't we review a turkey? Let's make that a yearly thing. We'll review one shitty album on Thanksgiving, because why the hell not? We're going to be reviewing Cold Lake by the legendary Celtic Frost, or as Jesse informed me, in 1986, they were called Celtic Frost.
Yes. Man, I'm way off tonight. Sorry, I apologize. I'm running like 5 seconds behind myself because I sat there. I had my kids. What's that?
Considering you've had the new old monia.
Oh man, and I apologize, folks, in advance. If I do sound a little bit off, and if I cough a few times, I'll do my best to mute myself. Because I don't even think I've ever had pneumonia before. I don't recall ever having it. So anyway, right before we run down here, Caleb has been really starting to get into wrestling. Wanting to watch.
Boy.
Yeah, he's wanting to watch more stuff. So we were kind of hopping on the network, and I showed him some TLC matches. So at about 9:30. He's begging for one more, as you do when you're a kid. One more. Come on, let's watch one more. So I said, all right. So I said, I'm sitting there running through what's a good one we could watch that he'd really enjoy. So I chose Taker versus Jeff Hardy from Raw for the Undisputed Championship from I think it was 2002 or 2001, which. It was one of my favorite matches.
Really good.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I knew Caleb would too. So anyway, of course, at the end of that, Undertaker wins the match. But what I wanted Caleb to enjoy was the fact that Jeff Hardy almost had that chance to beat this this great David and Goliath story. Dude, I had to deal with 5 minutes of him bawling because Jeff Hardy lost. So that is pretty much, yeah. Then I had to go, okay, buddy, sorry, you got to go to bed. So I apologize. So I'm trying to I'm keep my ear out, just make sure he ain't throwing stuff against the wall upstairs in his bedroom or whatever. But I think he's okay. Anyway, pneumonia and Cold Lake kind of go together, if you ask me.
Yeah, because you kind of start out and you're like, I don't feel so good. Something's not right. And actually, I just quoted Good Morning Black Friday from Peace Sells by Megadeth.
Peace Sells, yeah.
But you're like, man, something's not quite right. And you're like, I don't think I feel too great. Huh.
That's a good one.
And then
I got you.
And then as the album drags on, you're just like, oh God. This is the end, Lord. Take me now.
Now let me ask you a question here, because we're getting into this particular album. I've never heard of Celtic or Celtic Frost, because, by the way, you mentioned Celtic. How it's pronounced. I told you it's pronounced Celtic. I watched an '89 interview on Headbangers Ball. Adam Curry calls it Celtic at first, and then the band members say no, it's Celtic, and from there on out he says Celtic. Okay.
Oh.
I watch another interview in '85. The one I showed you the picture of, where this guy, the lead singer, has got his mouth black, I guess is what we'd call it. When you got your eye black, and then I guess you got your mouth black. And he proceeds to tell the lady that it's Celtic Frost. And this is a lady this is a Swiss interview I'm watching. The lady proceeds to continue to call it Celtic from there on out. So, buddy, I have no idea. It's not the Boston Celtics. I know that for a fact in the NBA. So I'm still at a loss as to how we pronounce this band's name. Are you familiar with this band at all? I mean, you brought these guys to my attention, and this is the first time I've ever had the chance to listen to them.
Well, let's see. I was actually quickly reading I Googled how to pronounce Celtic Frost or Celtic Frost, or
it's got to be Celtic. It's got to be. It's got to be. But, they say Boston Celtics. You got Seamus the Celtic Warrior. He's not the Celtic Warrior. My assumption is it can go either way, much like this band does.
Celtic. He said it was formed Celtic. He said they had a few American guys in their band, and they kept saying Celtic with an S. And it just kind of, for a while, those guys would say it's Celtic with like an S, but it's actually with the K sound. So it's Celtic. Yeah, it is Celtic Frost. This band here, when I was first getting into the more extreme genres and about my senior year of high school, I just kind of trolled the internet for, just kind of dug around. Okay, what's good? Like, what are, like, the cornerstone bands that I need to know? And, of course, I just kind of stumbled upon Celtic Frost. And I listened to The Usurper and Circle of the Tyrants, two absolute classics from Megatherion. And I was like, oh, this is really awesome. And I never really went back. Because, I've discussed on here bands before, like Iron Maiden and Motorhead and Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, those bands that are like cornerstones of the genre, who I just kind of take for face value. Like, I'm like, okay, I know their reputation. Here's like one or two albums. They're good. All right, I'm good. Like I only own a few Maiden albums, one Motorhead album. I don't own a whole ton. Now, there's some of those bands I actually need to dig more into, like Maiden, Black Sabbath, Motorhead. All those bands really need to be looked at. But I just looked at Celtic Frost as, okay, this is what they are. And then one day I found their last album, Monotheist, at a used bookstore, and I'm like, $8, that sounds a little steep. So I went home, and then I looked it up online, and I'm like, holy shit, this album is a classic. Well, and then I drive all the way back to that used bookstore while I was on an errand. I went 20 minutes out of my way and just claimed I got lost. And I went and bought it. And, oh, God, that album was crushing. It was the reverb on it, distortion in the mix, just the amount of, like, just force in all their music was insane. So I was like, okay, I got to go back and listen to this. I listened to the Morbid Tales EP once for a 411 Mania countdown, because, like, top 5 EPs, and I wanted to put that on there, so I had to actually listen to it, and it blew me away. Megatherion blew me away. I've listened to some of Into the Pandemonium. It's a little weird. Yeah, that was their more experimental stuff. And then they did this album, and actually they did another album after that was much better. I didn't even know it existed until last week. But Cold Lake is one of those albums that's kind of a joke in the metal community. Like the album has no longer been released. The band really disowns it, and they make fun of it all the time. Because to quote my best friend Nick Canada, I showed him. I played him "Circle of the Tyrants" off of Megatherion, and then I played him. Hold on, let me remember what song it was. "Cherry Orchards" off of Cold Lake. And he's like, this feels like a lot of label pressure. I'm like, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesse, I know I made you listen to 2 albums.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to just give you, because if I just gave you Cold Lake, I don't feel like you really understand just how baffling Cold Lake is.
Yeah, dude. We're talking 2 sides of a different coin.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Almost literally.
It is, seriously. It's such a genre change for a band to do. And this is one album, right? I mean, this is these are one album apart. So, what was the name of that first one you had me listen to again?
To Megatherion.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call it Road to Terabithia, but that's not the case.
The same thing. They're using Jesus, which, by the way, one of the coolest album covers ever. It was done by H.R. Geiger. I'm pretty sure, didn't he? Yeah, wasn't he the guy who did the Xenomorphs? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, yeah, he was. He's got his hands in the Alien franchise.
Yeah, and you can tell the album cover. If anybody's ever seen it, it's a figure that's enshrouded in like darkness and has horns and has one eye, and he's using Jesus on the cross as a slingshot, and that amuses me. It's just one of those like, I never thought about doing that. That is so blasphemous, but it makes me laugh.
And it's such a heavy. It's heavy. That type of metal is not. It's not really my type of metal, and this was early stuff too. This was obviously 80. It had to have been like 88 or no. This was before 88. It was like
than that.
So,
88 is this album that we're reviewing tonight. I think it was
that's right.
85. Let me look.
85.
Yep, 85.
So I'm not really one of the guys that's into too much of that early metal stuff. I can't. I don't know why. I can't really stomach a whole lot of it. I shouldn't say that. I can listen to a little bit. It's not my cup of tea. But I listened to the whole album, and it's heavy as shit. And then I was like, okay. So you told me to listen to these 2 albums, and I was like, okay, well, I wonder what's going to happen. Because I didn't know where you were going. I knew you said, you kind of gave me a little bit of a hint as to what the genre change was going to be, but I didn't realize how drastic it was, because we go from what you called, I think, was it proto black metal?
That's more or less what it is. It's that's what they're considered. Definite bands like Venom, they have a lot of the markings of black metal. Like you can see a lot of the things that they're doing influencing the genre, but they're not quite there yet. So I think they're more considered like the first wave of black metal. So it's black metal kinda. If you call it that, nobody will get offended. It's kind of what rides the wave between, it has mixtures of death metal, thrash metal, just traditional metal, but it's definitely not what Cold Lake is, which is hair metal.
Yes. My gosh. Well, when I first played it, I thought I was listening to Guns N' Roses. It was
really
heavy. It was heavy, but it was it was heavy because I'm gonna say that when we listen to it, I think there's some heavy elements to it. But
it's got heaviness to it. It's not devoid of its sort of metal credibility, but it is obviously not. It is not the same band. Like you can't tell me these guys are like, I'm really feeling this Poison album, guys.
It is absolutely not the same people. I thought it wasn't. the first thing I thought was somebody died. I was like, somebody died. Yeah, somebody died, and the main creative force behind this band passed away. Somebody took over and took it in a whole different direction. Turns out, I find out that that's obviously not the case. Let me ask you a quick question, Coop, because I'm looking here on the music. Did you have a chance to upload any of the music?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for it, and I cannot find it. Did you put it under anything?
It should be exactly how I always put it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
under the audio
I'm
clip.
looking. I'm looking over here at the audio clips. Let me see if I got to. Let me refresh real quick. I apologize. I want to play the clips and stuff, but I don't see them. So let me just get in here and refresh this real quick. See if it changes. There they are. Coop, I should have never doubted you. My webpage just needed updated. I was like, what the hell, man? Actually, while we were talking, I was downloading the songs. I was like, oh, shit. All right, cool. All right, so I got them, man. You just give me the cue. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Again, watching, I don't know if you watched the video for Cherry Orchards.
I did.
Did you?
Yes.
And weren't you watching it just going, yep, there's a cliche.
I was watching it saying, stop having sex with the camera. That's every time they looked at the camera, I thought they were trying to make out with me. Yeah. It made me very uncomfortable.
That's great. It was just, oh, God. It was like, here's them all singing into one microphone. Here's the cliche where they play guitar, or you get the guitar solo with a first-person view from the guitar. And, here's the big hair. And, just everything in it was just like, ugh.
It was,
so
too.
Dated. God.
And that particular video came out in '88. I mean, there was name our top glam bands at that point in time. I assume we're going to say Crew, right?
Yeah, I think I asked my buddy Nick. He knows much more about hair metal than I do, and I'm like, okay, what would you say, 88? I'm like, what would you say the cutoff point for a hair metal band would be? He goes, 91's when they died, but 88, 89, that's when you had all those bands showing up with ballads. He's like, to quote D. Snyder, if it started with if it had a ballad and it started with a W, it sucked. Warrant, Winger, Whitesnake. Yeah, he's just like all of it with a W. And this is I really feel like this was a label pressure sort of thing, because there is no reason that these guys ever should have released this. And again, like I said, I feel like this is going to be one of our more themed reviews, to where it's not like we're like, oh yes, we're going to dig deep into lyrical content. No, we're going to just kind of shit on why did they do this.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
I
didn't. You can go ahead.
I was going to say, I didn't foresee us, dissecting songs such
Cold
as
Lake.
Juice is Like Wine, which at one point I thought was Juice is Like Wine, until I saw and read the title.
You're like, you're drunk, Celtic Frost. Go home.
So, we're not, I don't foresee us doing that too much.
I don't know. We did do some pretty sick lyrical interpretations of Limp Bizkit.
Did we ever, too? Man, I think Mark Radulich loved that episode.
I did. I think he did. I did. I was having the time of my fucking life. Oh, you know what's really funny about this? I was trying to find the lyrics for this album. There are lyrics for Cherry Orchards, Juice is Like Wine, and Downtown Hanoi. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, and holy shit, these lyrics are sparse. Wow, for Cherry Orchards, we have the first verse, or first stanza is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 long, and then the next three stanzas are just like a two-line repeat. That's all. It's just one of it's a repeat and the one standalone. Next one, 4 line, 2 line, 4 line, 2 line. And for Downtown Hanoi, it's 4, 4, 5.
Wow. That is some smart stuff.
I'm like, it is so wonderfully just bad. And it's funny because as we'll get through this, there are some really, I'm not gonna say really good. There are some good points. There are some stuff that if this were, let's say, Poison. Poison's my least favorite hair metal band. It's because I had to play Talk Dirty to Me 20 times on Guitar Hero, and it made me just sick of them. Though, side note, there's a story I don't think I've ever told on here. If I have, you probably haven't heard it. It's there was a time when my local venue, which is closing in February, along with 2 other venues by February. So fuck me. We've got like 2 metal venues left. But they were having Bret Michaels. Bret Michaels was going to play like on a Sunday night. And I commented, who's the next bloated corpse of a singer that you're going to truck out here? Kurt Cobain?
Oh. Oh, it's horrible.
Like, that's one of those, it's mean. It was so mean, but I feel like it was one of those classic, because everyone, like, I got a ton of likes, but of course they deleted the comments. They were not amused. No, they were like, oh, they're probably just like, what a dick. Which, I mean, it is a dick move, but it's Bret Michaels. That guy's a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about as,
All right, dude. As you can tell, my son's come down here and let me know that my other son is going to take his sleeper off and his diaper off while he's in bed. So this ought to be fun.
Yes, it is. So we'll go ahead and move on to the first 2 tracks, if we can.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and... You got control, man. I don't even know if you got control. Do you got control there?
I can. Give me just a hot second. You can go ahead and start the first track. The first track here on it is actually the same title as the first track off their original EP, Morbid Tales. It is titled Human. Oh, good. Oh, God. I was just kind of praying that would be over. That was honestly one of the weirder sort of intros I think I didn't expect this as an intro at all. I really just kind of expected I expected something cheesy, of course. That felt like it came out of like a Wham album. Honestly, that was abysmal. Because it started out just kind of like, ho, here it comes. And then it just, it just started, it's like they were trying to rap, it's just weird. Like that, again, totally feels like something that the producer and the label person running their label is like, all right, here we go. What we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys to this right here. We're going to drop this nice, cool little rap that's going to be right in front of your opening track. All right, guys, you ready? You ready? And go. Like, it didn't feel genuine. It did not feel one bit genuine. And that's, wow. Looking at their, here's the weird thing. I keep saying it really felt like label pressure. I'm looking at their. I'm looking at Noise Records. They're the people who produced all of their albums. Yeah, most of their albums except for their newest one. They did a whole bunch of things like Abattoir, Coroner, Gamma Ray. Perhaps I misspoke. Perhaps even misspeaking here. I really don't feel like that. Perhaps this is what Celtic Frost wanted to do, which I guess I could see why, but I don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense to me why they would ever want to do that. But what are you going to do? Okay, unfortunately here, I promise I've not been stalling. What I've really been doing is trying to figure out where the hell the audio clips are here, because I can see audio clips. That's right, they're here, because I'm looking at the switchboard. But they are not, they're not here. Like, I uploaded them. I did it myself, promise you. But here we go. There they are. While Jesse is being a great father and making sure his kids do not do icky things, now I think we should move on to the second track here. The second track is so cliche it almost hurts. It is titled "Seduce Me Tonight." All right, so there was track number 2, Seduce Me Tonight. It's a nice song to have your candlelight dinner. Good, Jesse, you're back. What I unfortunately relayed to our listeners was upon looking at the label that this was released on, Noise Records, I don't feel like it was label pressure.
Noise Records, wow.
Yeah, Noise Records, they did all of Celtic Frost's releases except for Monotheist. They did all of a large amount of Coroner's releases. Coroner are a really good doom metal band. A few of Destruction's albums, Dragon Force, Gamma Ray. Yeah, like there is a lot of legit stuff that they've released.
Wow.
So I'm beginning to think that perhaps we were wrong. Yeah, Gravedigger, Hellhammer, Halloween, all these really big bands.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to wonder that maybe Celtic Frost really did want to release this album.
It was so cool that you can find that interview on YouTube. It's about 7 minutes long on Headbangers Ball where he's talking about, Curry's kind of I wouldn't say he's giving him a hard time or anything, but he's asking him the questions, hey, this is you're taking this in a different direction than what you've had in the past. And he pretty much comes out and says, yeah, well, what we are is a band that changes. And we embrace change. And this probably won't be the last time that we change. So in that particular interview, it's almost like he came out and said, well, hey, you get ready because, the next album could be us doing jazz or something, just something crazy. And that's kind of the vibe you got. And they also felt like they're almost kind of on the defensive a little bit. They knew what they were doing here. And the fact that, and he even mentions this in another interview, that particular genre is a very conservative genre. He uses that word. It looks like we lost Coop there. But if you're in a particular genre and all of a sudden you change, okay? If you don't change the name of the band, when you change the sound and the genre that you do, then you better be prepared for the fact that you're going to alienate half of your fan base. And I imagine that's kind of what they were probably in the throes of when they were doing these interviews, was the fact that, man, we just put this stuff out there. It's so vastly different from what we've had. We made a mistake. And it's kind of just like you said earlier, Coop. It's baffling how they could just do a complete 180 here. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. There's kind of room. There's kind of room for, I guess, wiggle room. But Megadeth did something similar with an album, didn't they? Like they made like some kind of almost comparable to disco, if I remember correctly.
Disco? No, I never did quite disco. Crush 'Em was not quite disco. It was shitty. That was in '99. That was Risk.
Risk. Like there you go.
Yeah, I feel like with the Risk, that's a little different because I don't necessarily give them an excuse for that or doing that. But with Risk, I feel like they kind of went along with Metallica and a lot of the other bands from the '90s in changing their sound to try and be commercially viable.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it almost sound like that they were doing this intentionally just see what they could do. I guess it was
see what they could
fun.
do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do have to say that even though I am a heterosexual man, what the hell? Those promo pics? Right. Like Tom G. Warrior, you are not somebody who is pretty enough to pull off this look.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if somebody just came up to him and said that, out of kindness one day, just said, or trying to flatter the guy. Man, you definitely could pull off a Bret Michaels look, and he really took it to heart. The label pressure was the only thing that I thought we could go with, but now, man, if he made this as a conscious decision, as we've learned or as we've seen, the following album after this, from what I've heard, they've corrected their ways. So,
yeah, I would say that it was a correction. I didn't listen to a whole lot of it. Like I said, I thought Cold Lake was the last one because it's really hard to kind of recover from that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to try and bring your fan base back, boy, they would. I mean, when Metallica, of course, Metallica was pretty big. But when Metallica supposedly, cut their hair and sold out, man, so many fans turned their back on them, and that's the story you hear on the VH1 specials or whatever. There was such dissension in the ranks. Now they're Metallica, okay? They're going to have fans whether they cut their hair or not, whether they kind of slow their music down or not, whether they're not Master of Puppets Metallica, but load or reload Metallica. Now, when you're Celtic Frost and
Boston Celtic Frost,
oh man, when you're those guys and they're small and you're, I don't Are they huge overseas?
Probably not.
I mean, I don't know much about this band, so I assume that you can't just risk your fan base like that and say, okay, guys, I know you really like I know you kind of like the black metal, but listen, get ready. And this was before, could you imagine? This is before, the internet. This is before, mass media could really come out and tell you. If you had to be a hard-nosed metal fan in order to know if something like this was going to happen to one of your bands, if they were putting out promos or if they were putting out material to let you know that, okay, this is what the upcoming album is going to sound like. This is what we're going to do. And you had to be a hard-nosed fan in order to know that. Now, just imagine being a casual fan and you go in, oh, man, the new Celtic Frost is out. You pick it up, I want my money back. I mean, it had to have felt like a stab in the back if you were a big fan and then you picked this up out of nowhere. But we've only made it through track 2, and I'm still going off about the change.
Well, like I said, I felt like that's really what we were kind of. We were going to talk a little less about the album and just kind of use the tracks to break up our discussion. So, sure, why don't we go ahead and move on to track number 3. Track number 3 is another slightly cliche title. Track number 3 is titled The Obsession. Or am I playing it? Okay.
Nope, I've got it. Any bright spots there, Coop?
Well, I mean, the sun has bright spots, and it still burns.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, this song was just kind of here, which is unfortunate. I mean, this is going to be the review of like half our album at this point. I mean, the song, it was just kind of here. It was very much just kind of a continuation of what they were doing with the first and second track, Human and Introduce Me Tonight. It was just kind of there. And the really weird thing is I don't know if you noticed this while listening to it, but these songs are like 3 and 4 minutes apiece, but they feel a lot longer.
I compared this guy to Guns N' Roses, compared the band to Guns N' Roses. The only thing I can really, it's definitely not the guitar. It's more like the vocals, the whining vocals. It's like, man, that's why it feels like an 8-minute song. Because you can't, you repeat the same thing over and over, and it's already got on my nerves the first time. I really don't find a whole lot of significance to this song. Nothing world-shattering, in my opinion. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, those vocals. We'll get into those after we get through the next track, because Yeah, I have a lot of problems with the vocals in this album. Holy shit.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
So, we'll go ahead and, we'll just do the quickest song transition we've ever done. All right, we'll go on to track number 4. It is titled Once, which is in parentheses for some damn reason. They were eagles.
Okay. Now this has some, I like the title. It means something, but I don't know what.
I have no clue. Honestly, I just kind of felt like they were grasping for straws here and just pulled words out of a hat. But actually, the vocals in this song weren't as bad.
No, they weren't.
The song had more of a feel of their older, didn't feel like their older work, but it still had a little bit of reminiscent. The riff was a bit heavier. The vocals weren't as whiny. They did kind of have that bark to them, just a slight degree. I mean, it's still not a great song at all, but the vocals in this album, I listened to Cherry Orchards for the first time. I recommended this album on Reputation. I'd never listened to it. I'd never wanted to listen to it. So I started out and I was like, okay. I was like, this isn't bad. I was like, this riff is not the worst thing ever. Not the worst riff in the world. Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
And then we hit the vocals and I just looked at it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, those vocals. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Like, Tom G. Warrior, he is very good at that kind of a doomish growl, or like a bark, the bark that he does in a lot of the early, actually most of his Celtic Frost work. He does a very good job at that, but he is not built to be singing hair metal. You need somebody with a very bright voice for that.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely doesn't. Again, I thought somebody passed away from album. I mean, that's what I thought happened. And it's just. I commend them or him if it was his idea. I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, they've changed band members a lot. I assume he's been the lead singer the whole way through.
Yeah,
I assume. Okay. But, they were talking about how many times they had actually changed band members, which I'm just curious. Any off the top of your head, do you know if that's correct? Is that something that they've done plenty of time over their history?
I don't.
Or is it just a
feel
few
like
times?
They have. But I can look real quick. Let's see.
Yeah, pull up if you got the wiki there.
Past members, that's a little different. Let's see, drums. They have a long time. They had a Mark St. Reed, who he used to be in Triptychon, actually. He was their drummer for all their early stuff. Let's see, Connor Victor Bryan was their bassist for the Cold Lake era.
The Cold Lake era? That was probably a very small era.
Yeah, Martin E. Ein is their who was their bassist and did vocals. Wow, his tenures, check this out, 1984 to 85, 86 to 87, 90 to 93, 03 to 08.
I'm in, I'm out. No, I'm in, I'm out. No, I'm in. No, I'm out.
I'm out. Like it's weird, but they seem to have like a few. Like they just seem to have some people that's kind of bounced in and out depending on the album.
Okay.
Like their guitarist was only for he was in Corner. Oh, okay. Well, their guitarist for this album was only on this album. The drummer for this album only played from this album to in the next album. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, you can it's kind of weird because the bassist for this album was guitarist on the next album. Yeah, it's a little odd, but I think you can definitely tell that there was they kind of flipped the tables on this.
I'm saving some of the stuff off of this Cold Lake wiki for later. I don't know if you are or not.
No, there's
if you
Cold Lake wiki.
Oh, dude. I mean, it's not very long. Obviously, who would want to devote that much time to it? There's a track listing, which is, I guess, nice. Yeah, I'll send you the link. But there's some funny stuff on there, that's for sure. Funny. Especially from quotes coming from Tom G here. Good old Tommy. Well, okay. So, yeah, once they were Eagles.
Album wiki.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Made a wiki just off of that album.
Oh, no. No, the album wiki. They did a little bit of research there, and Tom, the legacy. I direct your eyes to the legacy in particular. That's the interesting stuff right there. So if there's anything you want to pull off there, you're more than welcome to quote it. But so the next one, did you want to go to the next one there? I didn't want to.
Yes, we can go ahead and get to the main single, including horrible, fucking awful video. Yes, the next track, the fifth track on this album out of our 13 that we're going to be looking at. Jesus. Yes, the first single off of this album was the one that we've been referencing quite a bit. This song is titled Cherry Orchards.
Nothing like getting some uninterested chick to monologue over your guitar.
Yeah, I mean, that's what really, in music, that's what gets me going. Like, all right,
no, dude.
here's a completely and totally uninterested woman to narrate this new song.
Start the pit, folks. Get the pit going.
That's right. Throw some elbows, bitches.
Oh, jeez.
While reading that wiki actually says a lot about this album. It really does. Yeah, this song here was the single, and I can see that it was the single. Yeah. It was okay. Like, I feel like if it weren't the single, I wouldn't remember it, but because I've listened to it a few times, it kind of sticks in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it had a pretty killer solo in it. There were some killer solos on this album. But, I
can't fault the guitar work really a whole lot in this particular album. I don't. There's probably a few songs that are just like, they're kind of humdrum. Although I say that, and then I just sent you a message where it just felt like they completely ripped off "Search and Seek and Destroy." I say "Search and Seek and Destroy."
It felt like they just "Seek and Destroy." That's kind of what it was.
Yeah,
and it really does. I don't feel like I can fault the solos in this. There are a few riffs that sound legitimately interesting. But once you get past the opening riff, a lot of this just becomes generic, just
over and over.
It becomes a kind of your heavy metal bag of tricks. Just like, bought it from the Dollar Tree. Let's see what's in it. Well, what do you know?
Put it on the album.
Yeah, all right. I think we're good. Which that really does speak, because as you sent me that wiki. It was talking about how this was a totally different Celtic Frost. Like, the band actually was done, and then Tom G. Warrior got a call, like, hey, let's bring the band back. So he's like, okay, and then let the other guy make the band. So that explains why they had a total change in attitude and everything, because the guy who pretty much runs the band didn't care. that felt like, you know what it feels like? It felt like Stan Lee was writing It was like Stan Lee and Steve Ditko were still working on Spider-Man, and then they just kind of replaced it with like two guys, but they kept the name on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is Spider-Man flying? They're like, fuck it. We just wanted to make it how we wanted to.
Again, this is something where it seriously feels like they should have changed the name of the damn band. This is, it was just so. It was just so out there. It was like, okay, to make a smart business decision, do not betray your fan base and do something else so that when somebody sees this album on the shelves, that they go and they see it under a different name, so they know they are getting something. They are taking the risk that they are getting something different. It's out there. As for this particular song, you mentioned the video. I watched the video there today once, and that'll probably be the last time I watch it for the rest of my life.
What is this like? You're like,
I've seen. Other than the fact that I've seen the video probably 1,000 times before, it just wasn't done by Celtic Frost. So. But as for the, this was mentioned in that interview I watched also. This particular song was about Marilyn Monroe, apparently.
Yeah, that would explain why Marilyn Monroe was in the fucking video so much.
Yeah. Now, as for the lyrics, I assume it's about her life and, of course, how she passed away and all that stuff. But this was the single off this album.
I assume it was, because that was the video.
Yeah, clearly again, I'd never heard of this band before. Certainly didn't get a lot of airplay down here in good old Marietta, Ohio. So,
are you sure? Why? Why?
I don't understand, but yeah,
I think it's
Cherry.
It's a lack of. I feel like it's a lack of taste, really.
Yeah, must be. It must be. Mhm. But yeah, just crazy stuff there. I mean, you can't really say a whole lot else. I don't know if he had some kind of an obsession with Marilyn Monroe, and that's what led to this song, or if he just felt like it. And when did Elton John come out with his great piece, "Candle in the Wind"? Wasn't that about Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana and all that? Yeah, I'm asking the metal guy.
You're talking to the wrong person. I think I've heard of that song. Let's see, "Candle in the Wind." Oh,
Candle in the Wind.
1973.
No. Is it 73? Okay, he redid it when Princess Diana died, and
yeah, 1997 is when he rewrote it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so this isn't no Candle in the Wind.
No, I would say this is very much like, it's not quite candle. I would say it's like somebody stuck their ass to the candle and farted right in it.
Oh, yeah. That's a good pneumonia laugh cough right there. Oh.
Yeah, I feel like it's very, very fitting.
Oh, interesting. Stanky.
Yeah. So, just very much like this album. So, speaking of stanky, and juices. Let's move on to the next track number 6. Oh no, a juicy fart. Track number 6 off of this lake here is called "Juices Like Wine."
This one needs some in-flight training.
Okay, first part of that song, I enjoyed it. And then screamy, sad, whiny guy shows up and starts singing again. I still don't know what the juices are. I'm racking my brains.
I'm assuming it's feminine juices.
Is that what it is?
Judging by the lyrical content of this album and the inspiration that went upon it, probably.
God, I mean, when we got... Okay, this is one of, Dark Lyrics comes through for us here and actually hooks us up.
Oh, yeah, this was like one of the few songs.
Yeah, and it has, this is our first first few lines there. Thirst and desire to rule the light, for crossing heaven's a futile fight. Bound to storm, our minds wave, fervent to sail in deserts of mist.
So it's
like,
not fruit and juices.
Yeah, I mean, and then all of a sudden we start talking about juices like wine. Like the blood in the sands. Juices like wine. Now,
I guess this has something to do with Jesus. I don't know. I probably not Jesus.
I honestly think that is supposed to say juice is like wine. That's just my
like wine. Something about blood and sand. Juice is like wine.
Because it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for if they're taught what kind of juices can there possibly be that are essential to this story. I mean, unless they're talking about bodily fluids, just people getting crushed or bodily juices getting. I have no idea.
Bodily juices. Oh no.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know. Really, you could have cut out the whole juices like wine shit and left the rest of it in here, and I think this would have been an okay song because all that juices like wine shit is Mr. Whiny Gush. The whiny vocals showing back up. So, yeah. What's your thoughts, Coop?
That was a cool gun. Juices like wine. Doesn't make a whole lot of lyrical sense to me. It just kind of feels like they're like, all right. What do we got? Juices like wine. Not quite selling me. And he just starts repeating it, and just like in the song, he's like, all right, fuck it, let's go. Because the really interesting thing about the producer of this album is actually a very famous person in the music world.
Okay.
Like it was Tony Platt, who's done, when I looked at his Wikipedia page, would you believe it if I told you that he's done albums for AC/DC, Cheap Trick, Bob Marley, Iron Maiden, Foreigner, Motorhead.
Dang.
And, like I said, Bob Marley. Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff. Yeah, he did Samson, Trust. So he's done a lot of really good albums, some really good people. And then he did this, which I don't feel like it's his fault, but he was involved with it, so it has to be his fault.
Yeah, I've heard of Tony Platt before. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's odd. It's really odd. So, okay, let's go ahead and flip to side 2, because on the track listing in Wikipedia, that's the first song on track 2. So here we go. Track number 1 on side 2, which would be track number 7 for us people playing it on a CD. It is called Little Velvet.
one where I really would have appreciated some lyrics because there's stuff I don't hear so well already. And when I start to hear stuff that I can't understand, I just use words that I think it sounds like. And then shit gets really crazy in songs like this.
Story of my life. You're talking to the person who thought the intro to the New Age Outlaws was, oh, you didn't know? Burn, join the club around here. Yeah, I thought it was join the club. And then D-Lo Brown, I thought it was, we're looking at the mildew now.
Mildew now.
Looking at the mildew now. Time to get your sorry ass off the street. I mean, to be fair, the only time I ever heard those themes was from WWF No Mercy. But I don't feel like sound quality is a good enough excuse.
Yeah. What starts happening is you start taking those guys and putting them in the situation that makes sense with the lyrics. D-Lo's underneath the sink with a scrub brush and a spray bottle.
See,
looking at the mildew now.
I thought he was just that poor.
Oh my gosh, man.
My friends never stopped making fun of that either. They're like, we're looking at the mildew now. I'm like, fuck you guys. You think you're funny, but you're not.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's damn hilarious. Well,
yeah, I mean that is what happens with me in words. So yeah.
Well, dude, in this particular song, I hear "Ride Me Into Your Buddy." And I'm like,
ride me into your buggy.
That's what we probably should have done is replayed the song and like tried to interpret what this guy says because I have no idea what he says. Ride me into your buddy. Ride me into your love. I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. Dark Lyrics fails us and doesn't come through with any lyrics for this particular song. And then I'm looking at the title. I'm like, does that make sense with the title? Little Velvet. I don't even know what to even think about with that particular title. The only thing I can think of is like maybe some
prostitution, teenage prostitution.
Is that what it is?
No, I have no fucking idea.
I didn't put those two things together. I've never heard of that being called that, but that might be something I've just never.
No, I doubt it's ever been called that.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, oh God, little.
Jeez. Well, I don't know what else to say here.
Who knows?
Well, I can tell you, like at the beginning, almost every single one of these songs, I kind of bang my head a little bit. Like, all right, here we go, and we got a nice little guitar. In 89, if I would have heard this and I would have enjoyed metal instead of been listening to DJ Jazzy Jeff,
you honky.
I know it, man. But this would have been something I would have actually enjoyed at first, and then when, of course, the lyrical shit hit, I would have been in the same stance I am today. I wouldn't have liked it, but it sounds good when the guitar hits and stuff like that in this particular song, and then we get "Ride Me Into Your Buddy." So I don't know what the hell else to say other than, stop ruining the damn song. You were talking about the guitarist. You said the guitarist is this is the only time he played on this particular album.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the other guy that was with Mr. Warrior or Tom G, whatever his name is. I think he was the other guy that was with him on the interview. And oh my gosh, dude, this guy looked like he was trying to do Slash without the hat.
He's probably just trying to do Slash.
But he had no intelligence whatsoever. He just did not seem like he had intelligence to me. Young kid, but it sound if that's him playing, I think he sounds pretty good. Granted, he's not extremely original, But, you know, like I said, I'm banging my head when I'm hearing the instruments. It's just the vocals that take me out. So, not really much of a slam on the guy, but go ahead.
I think actually Tom G. Warrior is I want to say he's the main guitarist for the band. Let me check. I'm not quite sure. But I'm pretty sure he is. I know he is a guitarist.
Okay, well then I don't know. The kid that was there in that interview, in that '89 interview to promote this album, it was the first time he'd actually been in this band. I know that much because he said that on the interview. But I don't know if he was a guitarist. I know he wasn't a drummer because you said the drummer was coming back, and they mentioned that in the interview too. So
I think he's the main guitarist because when you look at Morbid Tales, Tom G. Warrior is vocals, guitars, and effects.
Okay.
So I think he's the main guitarist because we can look at I can look at some of their other stuff too. Oh God, what did I just sign myself up for? Oh, there we go, Emperor's Return. Like, yeah, you look at a lot of their that's a fucking metal. Yeah, he's their guitarist on one of their EPs. What the fuck noise was that? There's just a really weird ass noise outside my house, and I don't know why.
That ain't good.
Let's look. Yeah, and then let's see, Megatherion. Yeah, I think he's a guitarist for this band.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah, so the other guy is like the backup, like the rhythm guitarist, and yeah.
Gotcha.
I think he can be blamed for the generic.
Yeah, okay. Because he really did not. He did not sound. He just didn't sound like he was too intelligent. I mean, they'd ask him a question, and he'd give like a 2-word answer. It's like, dude, you're at an interview, you know, go for it. And no, wasn't all there.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Could be.
Could have been worse. Tom G. Warrior could not have been on the album at all.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Then maybe that would have meant that he wouldn't have been in all that makeup. But, you know, whatever. You can only get so much anyway. So, okay, let us move on to track number 8, since what I thought would take an hour and change is now taking an hour and change, and we're still going. So track number 8 is the stupidly named Blood on Kisses.
What do you got to say, Coop? Oh, Coop's not there. Caller has dropped. Throw it to Coop. And he leaves. Hold on a second. There we go. He's back. Coop, what do you got to say about Blood on Kisses, man?
I got to say that AT&T phones stuck on battery life. But beyond that, God, you know, it's like a BlackBerry knockoff. And it's like, it was at 3/4 power when I started this podcast. So now I was like, let me use my mom's cell phone, and I hope it'll make it an hour. So, yeah, or at least 40 minutes, because if it doesn't last that, I'll just cut out. But this song here was kind of generic. It was a thing. It wasn't really all that exciting. I don't remember enough about it to really expound upon it. I feel like this album was really top-heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the better songs are definitely in the front. At least that's those are the ones that we remember.
I agree. I do agree. I was laughing throughout the track because again I started putting words and stuff I couldn't understand, and I heard he kissed me but kissed her first or something like that, and I don't need to do that. Would you agree that this particular vocalization, the whiny type vocalization, it just feels like sometimes it becomes the same thing over and over again, even though it may be a totally different song and it sounds like the same exact thing?
Yeah, there's some definite repetition to this.
Okay.
And that's really unfortunate because I feel like there's some good stuff that these, even some of the whiny vocals can offer. But damn, like I feel like it gets unnecessary after a certain point.
Well, there was a point in this. There was a point where I was listening to this album, and I was listening to the full album on YouTube. So there wasn't like I had track by track. I had to listen to the whole 48-minute album, and I thought at one point they had screwed up and put the same track on there. And of course, I went through and looked, and that was not the case. It took me a couple seconds because I wasn't paying attention, and I was like, "That's the same track I just heard a few tracks ago." But yeah, I get that with this particular song. For some reason, this sounded exactly like something we had just listened to, one of the previous 7. It might have been Little Velvet. I don't know. I don't know, but it just felt like it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah. I definitely got that. Jesus. It is unfortunate because I think we're going to get a whole lot more of that as this album goes along.
Well.
But yeah, all right. So speaking of this album going along, let's see what is next on the docket. Oh, yes. Next is an interestingly named song. I don't know if it has anything to do with the band Hanoi Rocks. R.I.P. Razzle. So, from that random reference to a hair metal band, here we go. Here's track number 9, Downtown Hanoi.
Right, see that line of troops down there? You see the line of troops back, you know? All right, just this side of it, there's 4 guys with bushes on.
What was going on in Hanoi at this point in time? Any clue? I tell you what. I'll look up Hanoi, 1989. Oh crap, that's right there on Google. So Hanoi, 1989.
What the hell?
I want to know what the hell's going on. I didn't know what was going on that made these guys write about it. Is Hanoi Vietnam? Because that's what's coming up.
That's what I'm seeing, but that's weird because I don't know why we'd be talking about Vietnam, but
Sea of the Rising Dragon. Vietnam in a Changing World. I'm just curious as what was going on. I'm looking at the lyrics. They're talking about drowning in purple wine, which makes me think, okay, they're getting drunk. It's nice that we got actually lyrics to analyze, even though we probably shouldn't even be wasting our time. But it sounds like there's like a big... Yeah, no kidding. It sounds like there's like a war going on at first, because that's what I thought was going on. I didn't really catch all the conversation, but it sounded like to me there was some kind of like either war going on or the radio chatter. That's what put me in mind of, or something to do with the police. I have no idea. But then, drowning in purple wine, standing as one we line. Golden light did stop their dance. A fever obscene, a wicked romance. I'm tasting sweat on my tongue, faint of wicked green. Faith of the heart, passion and death, downtown's breath. Sounds like there's something to do with money in that, too.
probably.
It's funny that we can actually read the lyrics within probably we probably read those lyrics within 30 seconds, and they took about, 4 minutes to whine it to us?
Yeah, it got really, it got really repetitive. This song kind of sucked.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, man.
I felt like it was really mediocre. Like, it was cliched, and there wasn't really a whole lot to it. Like, it felt like a very vapid song.
When your hook is a damn geography lesson or something, like downtown Hanoi, only thing I can think of is
Panama.
Man, that's a good one. I was listening to an 80s station on fucking Spotify, and there is a song that comes on there all the time from 1984, and Bangkok. You remember that? You probably don't remember that song. I know. I was a little kid when it came out. One night in Bangkok. I know that song. All right, okay.
Was it the hard man? Some man humble. I don't remember what fucking type of man it was.
I have different lyrics, such as my dick hole crumble, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I sing it anyway.
One night with Sticky will just make you humble.
That's it, too.
Right, one night with the iron cheek will break your back and make you humble.
That's right. That is right. He's a fun Twitter to follow, folks. Hop on and follow the Iron Sheik on Twitter. You will not be disappointed. Go fuck yourself, as he tends to say all the time. But anyway, in downtown Hanoi, okay, I got it. That's where we're at. I just trying to put some substance to the song. I have no idea what was going on. It sounds like there's something to do with greed and something else going on back in the 80s. So I assume they could be just talking about Vietnam at the time. It says Hanoi, shedding the ghosts of war. I'm looking at nationalgeographic.com. That's about as far as I want to go. I'm not going to be reading any of that shit, so closing that tab. What's next, Coop?
I was thinking about all the talking about vapidness. I don't know if you watched the Panthers-Cowboys game.
Yeah.
But God, that halftime show.
Dude, tell me, I saw people, you were not the only one complaining about this Luke Bryan guy. On my feed anyway. So I've never heard the dude, so it must have been epic suckage.
Of him. I had heard of him. I've never heard him. It was stupid party country music. It was just like repetitious, like I want to see you get down country, like country girl, get down for me. And it was just kind of repeating, I want to see you get down, girl. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, I know all the, like, kind of silly 20-year-old, whatever, girls that like to go out and with their Daisy Dukes and boots, which is really humorous because, I live here in the South. When girls are going to go to the local bar here to try to get free drinks, they always wear their Daisy Dukes and cowboy boots. It's unfortunate because I feel like cowboy boots can look really attractive with, like, a nice skirt. Yeah, but Daisy, no, it just looks stupid.
I said I can identify with that, and I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could work like that, but I was just like, ugh, so dumb. And the song itself was really just, man, I was angry. That's why I went to my computer and typed that, because when I'm sitting here trying to listen to something that I obviously hate, it just makes me mad. So, speaking of garbage, here is track number 10, Dance Sleazy.
And now a touch of beauty is added to our program.
Hello, boys.
Dance Sleazy. Man. This is one of those tracks that, as you guys say, there.
It was there.
It was there. I mean, nothing special. 89. I guess if you're glam metal, what you want to do is you want to kind of push that. Hey, we're at the stripper joint. We're glam metal band, and we're getting drinks, and we're get that chick on the pole, let her dance. We're going to watch it, and I want you to dance sleazy. That's about the only thing I could. That's about as far as I can take
it. Sorry, I just saw a clip from the game that's going on right now, the Packers and the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers is snapping the ball, and it goes past him, and you hear him as he's doing his count. Hike! Oh, fuck!
Oh, jeez. That's hilarious. What's the score anyway?
Right now, that's a good question. Where's my remote? Yeah, I had it on a video game, actually. Now, where's the other remote? The score is 17-13. Chicago's up. With less than 3 minutes left in the game.
Green Bay is not the team they used to be.
Yeah.
Not the field.
How sad.
I'm sure you're really upset.
Oh, I am just crushed. Actually, I really wanted the Green Bay Packers to win because then it makes the Panthers beating them look that much better.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way I look at it. Once we beat them, they can win everything. So then it's like, oh wow, they beat all these good teams. Because the funny thing is if you look, the Panthers' schedule's not easy for the rest of this season. I mean, it's 2 Falcons, a Buccaneer, a Giant, and I'm trying to remember. Is that it?
Oh man, the Bucks. The Bucks are different.
One.
The Bucks are a team I can't get a hold on.
Like, they're coming into their own, I feel, and the Falcons are still good, and the Giants are pretty good. But the thing that's dumb is the Patriots have the easiest schedule in the league.
The thing that's dumb is the Patriots.
Patriots make me mad because they're the Patriots. I don't like them. I'm bitter.
I totally understand. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm bitter about the Patriots. I mean, I want to beat them in the Super Bowl again. So, side note, those Panthers uniforms today looked like complete and total shit.
Did they? I haven't seen nothing of the game.
You know the Panthers blue jerseys?
Yeah.
Imagine that on the pants too.
Ew.
It looked like blue raspberry, whereas my mom said the Smurfs.
The Smurfs. The Smurfs are out.
Yeah, that game was really good though. Panthers won like 30-something to 14, 33 to 14, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I saw the score there.
And Tony Romo's out for the season probably because he got sacked.
Kuechly
landed on his
2 interceptions. Kuechly had 2 interceptions
and a pick 6.
Wow.
He got 2 interceptions. He got 2 interceptions, almost one after the other.
Oh my goodness!
And that was after Kurt Coleman got a pick 6. But right before that, like first minute of the game, Kurt Coleman pick 6, 45 yards. And then Kuechly got a pick 6, and then Kuechly got another pick. And that was the game. Like pretty much like after that first quarter, like it was kind of tight, but yeah, it was done. Like it was 30-3 for the longest, 33 to 6 for the longest time until we finally gave him a touchdown at the end. I just laughed at all the people. Like I have a coworker that was like, yeah, y'all gonna see the Cowboys? They're on a roll. They haven't lost to Romo yet. Their first 7 losses, they don't matter. And I said to him, I'll remember that when playoff time comes. And you're like, oh, we didn't make it. I was like, yeah, but I thought those first 7 losses didn't matter.
Exactly.
I wish I would have bet that smug son of a bitch. Like, hey, $200, I'll bet you. Yeah, he pissed me off. But anyways, let's stop talking football. Wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast.
Speaking of things that don't hurt, here is track number 111, Roses Without Thorns.
Join near.
Ooh. Mega Fade.
Mega Fade. Sounds like a really cool band.
Can I go ahead and let you make the Poison joke here?
This song's about roses without thorns. Just like this album really bores. Tom G. Warrior couldn't give a fuck, 'cause this song's about roses without thorns. There we go. How was that?
Awesome. 1988, Open Up and Say Ah came out from Poison. Which featured Every Rose Has a Thorn. Or, excuse me, has its thorns. Now, we have Celtic Frost, who decide that
Boston Celtic Frost. Even though it is officially Celtic Frost.
It is officially Celtic Frost. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. They said the Americans were the reason that they kept getting that they kept saying Celtic, because the American guys that they brought in the band kept mispronouncing it.
Okay, got you. All right, so Celtic Frost comes out with this album 1 year later. And they decide that they're just going to give Poison a run for their money by jumping into the glam metal business and basically giving them the middle finger and telling them, folks, there are such things as roses without thorns. And here's a song just to prove it. So
that is right. Here you go. Poison, you're a bunch of jackwagons.
Shove it up your ass.
That's right. They're dropping more mics than puberty drops balls.
Yes. Clearly, I think the reason why they got out of the glam metal business was not because this album sucked, it's because they made so many enemies. They just said, "Oh shit, we've done crossed the line," and doesn't have anything to do with the fans. Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that, you know, Tom G may have regretted the fact that he ever did this album. Doesn't have anything to do with all that. They made enemies in the glam metal business. You don't want to. It's like the mob. I'm just saying. You don't want. You don't want enemies.
It looks a lot more feminine.
a lot more. Come hither glances at the camera.
Yeah, it comes with a pound of mascara, 16 cans of hairspray, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, shit, the Packers are making their comeback.
Oh, boy.
They're at the 8-yard line, less than a minute, 1st and goal. And Rodgers is running. Nope.
They at the Bears or they at the Packers? They're at the Packers this tonight, aren't they? Because they just did they had a special halftime thing with Bart Starr. So
Brett Favre.
Yeah, no, Bart Starr was there also.
Okay, because I know they just did the one with Brett Favre today.
Okay, well maybe it was earlier then. I don't know. Maybe
because they retired his number.
Did they?
Yeah, they retired Brett Favre's number. I was about to say, they already did Bart Starr's.
Well, Bart Starr, I think, was there in appearance. So even though the guy's can't remember half of his career, he remembers his number, he remembers the position he played, and he remembers the team that he played on. That's about it.
Does he have Alzheimer's or something?
The article I read was like he will sit down and watch like the plays and stuff from his career, and he doesn't remember that shit. He doesn't.
That makes me really sad.
Yeah, he suffered. I think if I remember right, they said he suffered like 2 or 3 strokes, and had severe bronchial infection that almost killed him last year. So he's really. I thought I remember. No, it wasn't that guy. But he's had a tough. He's like 80 some years old too. But hell, the only reason I know his name, to be honest, other than recently hearing about the guy, was collecting pro set football cards back in the 90s. They used to have these Super Bowl MVP cards, and Bart Starr, I think, was Super Bowl MVP. MVP of Super Bowl one. So interesting stuff. What do you think of that? We'll take it to sports talk again. See, here's the thing. I had pneumonia. I had to cancel source material Monday. I had to cancel fucking Cheap Seats Tuesday. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to talk about comics. Or we already did that, didn't we?
And yep, there you go, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers blew it. Bears win.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah, 4th and goal. Couldn't get it done.
You heard it live, folks.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Yeah, we get into comics. Yeah, just you wait. The newest issue of Vinland Saga dropped today, so I already read it.
Did it really?
Chapter 120. We're up to chapter 122.
Damn, man. Wow.
Yeah, what chapter are you? What chapter are you on now? Like 30?
Oh, dude, I stopped reading. What was the last thing I sent you? Because that was seriously the last thing I stopped reading because I started grabbing. I had a whole bunch of other shit. We are definitely going to have to strategize that shit out, and that's something we're going to have to take a few minutes to talk about offline for sure. There at some point later on when are you still in school right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You got like Christmas break or anything coming up?
Oh, I do.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
We'll figure that shit out later.
First week of January. First day of January. Not first day. 4th day of January. My first day student teaching. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Wee. All right.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So, all right. Let us move on. Because Aaron Rodgers couldn't get the job done. Little bitch.
Well, I think this next song
on.
is actually kind of appropriate for Packers fans.
Yeah. Here is track number 12 off of Cold Lake. Tease me.
That guy didn't sound like an emo bitch when he sang in this particular song.
Yeah, this song actually had like some balls to him.
Jerry Lewis.
The music did that. Oh, God.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know the guy. The lyrics or the vocals are just. It's bad. Tease me. That's why I'm gonna call it when I get on Cheap Seats coming up Tuesday. Just wait till Teasley's going to introduce me. How you doing, Starcher? I'll be like, Teasley.
Yeah, Teasley. Yeah, that's all right. Teasley. He's like, what the fuck?
Oh, that'll be one of the many voices that I'll be banned from. I guarantee it. I've got my bad British voice I got banned from, and then my Indian redskin voice has been banned. I get threatened to be hung up on.
Big Chief Starcher. No,
So
like Redskins.
The Celtic, and so I'll have a Celtic Frost accent, and he'll either do one of two things. He'll threaten to hang up on me, or he will hang up on me. One of those two things will happen. It may happen throughout the whole damn episode. He may not catch on right at the beginning.
Fucking love it.
Thank you, Celtic Frost. This is probably one of the best things that's come from the Cold Lake.
Yeah, it's definitely not any of the musical output, that's for sure. Running joke? Yes. We'll go with that.
Plenty of those to be had in this fucking thing.
Yeah. Okay. And now we are here to the last stop on our tour of Cold Lake. Oh, darn. It seems like yesterday that we started this review, and it was a little awkward. But yeah, all right. Here we go. Here is the CD bonus track. It is a live version of a Wall of Voodoo cover. You ever heard of Wall of Voodoo?
No.
Negative. I have not. But their major hit is called Mexican Radio. Apparently they're a new wave group, and this hit was from '83. So, all right, here we go. Here is the live version of Celtic Frost's cover of Mexican Radio.
Guitar solo. I'll bring the fade up for a guitar solo. Some good shredding at the beginning of that. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Like I said, the guitar solos in this album they're pretty good. I greatly enjoyed the solos that are in this album. It's just kind of a lot of the other things. We can't say
vocals more. I don't know if Blog Talk will let us, really, to be honest. I think we may have hit the max on the word vocal, so we're going to have to start like using thesaurus.com or some shit.
The
tones?
No.
Yeah, that's not going to
work. The vocal
tones.
Vocal tones, there we go. The vocal tonage of this album, I would say that it was slightly offensive to the ear.
I would agree.
Oh, and apparently Aaron Rodgers 4 interceptions. Damn.
Wow.
He said he was going to beat Romo no matter what, because Tony Romo only threw 3, even though two of them were pick sixes. Can you imagine his fantasy score this week?
Oh gosh,
Jesus.
Man.
A lot of sacks. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, this cover here was okay. It was good from a musical perspective. Vocally, it still suffers from the same problems. But what are you gonna do, right?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
We got sort of like an allusion to three different nationalities. I say nationalities or three different cultures here. We got the Celts, we got the Mexicans, and we have those who practice voodoo, all in one song. Somehow it's all related somehow in this one song. I'm on Mexican radio, folks. I'd be interested if we were. Some pirate radio station down in Mexico was like pirating the Metal Hammer of Doom from Blog Talk. You deserve it, Blog Talk.
Could you imagine if we were on Mexican radio? What if that was the problem? What if that was our entire problem right there?
I think we got a lot of problems, Coop.
We do. One of them is mentioning the library.
Don't do it. Well, we've only got 3 minutes of live time, so guess our live
really,
listeners.
If we drop off now, what would happen? Like you just be like, well, shit, all right.
We've done it. We've had to deal with it in the past.
Dude, I've had to pay the library $10 over the past 3 weeks.
What the hell did you do?
Because I checked out a DVD both times, and then forgot it for a week overdue.
Wow, $10?
Yeah, $5 a piece.
Damn, man. They charge us. Wow, I think they charge us. I think it's 25 cents. Fairly certain. I could be wrong on that. I don't think it's maybe it is $1 a day. I have to look. That seems to be right though. Yeah, you done fucked up there, buddy.
Twice. Yeah, I did it twice. So that's why it was $10. At least
you paid it. You paid it because you respect the library. You support the library. You paid your fee because you understand what a valuable asset the library is.
That is true. It is an amazing asset. Even if they can't get the fucking, God, they couldn't get the damn Rurouni Kenshin volumes right to save their fucking lives. I got the manga Rurouni Kenshin. Volume 11 is what I was looking for. I put that on hold 3 separate times. I got volume 10. I got volume 4. I got volume 2.
Nice.
And then I gave up.
Does it actually have the number? Does it actually have the number? It's got to have the number, right? It's
what on the book?
Got to have the number on the book. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like in Japanese or some crazy bullshit that you can't fault somebody for not being able to read.
No.
Wow.
Well, it was in plain fucking English. Are you people kidding me?
Wow.
Because like the first time I'm like, okay, this happens. And then the second time I'm like, okay, this is a problem. And the third time I said, fuck it, I'll take it. And I just handed it to them and then I acted like I read it and then I just brought it back. Because there was a time they were supposed to, they said they were going to give me the right copy. And then I forgot. And then I didn't come back for 2 weeks. Because they actually got worried about me. They're like, hey, are you okay? What happened to you? And I was like, I had 3 papers. I was like, I had 3 papers, 2 PowerPoints, 2 lesson plans, and a lesson to plan for, and 20 hours of work all in one weekend.
Yeah. You're not going to see me at the library.
No, the library. Yeah, that is definitely the moral of that story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What are your final thoughts on Cold Lake?
Real quick. Cold Lake is an eerily prophetic name for the album. And I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this, Coop, as this is precisely where the album belongs. at the bottom of a cold lake.
Like the creature of the back from the Black Lagoon.
He comes up and the shit's like hanging right there on top of his head. Like, no, put the shit back. We can deal with the lagoon, or we can deal with the creature. Just put the fucking album back at the bottom, and we'll be all right.
For the love of God, just fucking keep the album, which I think is out of print now. Let me just check real quick. I think it's honestly out of print.
It's funny that the wiki lists it as a track, or side 1 and side 2, when we know there was a CD at some point because they have a bonus related. Why did they do that? Is that just because they may have? Why would they keep it as side 1 and side 2? Did they mix up the tracks when it got released to CD?
Holy shit! Audio CD is worth $95 on Amazon.
Yeah, dude, I've heard it. I've heard that this thing goes for some pretty decent money because it's a rare find.
And the cassette is $26.
They said on that wiki. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that that's just a testament to the amount of shit that it is.
Well, they said on that wiki that weren't they like going to release it or re-release it? Let me see where it says here. They were going to re-release. They reissued its back catalog in 1999. They purposely omitted Cold Lake. This is. I mean, just do you have the wiki in front of you?
Do I?
If not, I'll go ahead and read it here. But I want to read that quote. I want to read the quote from Tom here and what he has to say about Cold Lake. He says, I was too eager to simply have a good time. I was too happy to have new musicians who actually wanted to write about and who didn't leave me with the immense burden of writing and producing the entire album, as it had been for the first 3 Celtic Frost albums. I therefore loosened control of material and quality too much, and I was too glad to let the darkness go, right down to the band's image. The original concept for Cold Lake was, as outlined, was now taking on its own dynamics, and our focus became totally out of control. What was going to be a far more melodic commercial album by the original lineup became an overblown steam release valve for past frustrations recorded by new musicians who didn't yet understand the legacy of Celtic Frost. Which, that has to be, if you're a new band member stepping into a new band and you got all this, all this stuff that's either ready to go, it's probably pretty tough to put yourself in those shoes and play with passion, I assume. But anyway, I'll stop there. He does, that final thing he does say, Tom has also said it was the absolute worst I could do in my lifetime. And he has also called it an utter piece of shit and possibly the worst album ever created in heavy music. This is Tom, folks. This is Tom G. Warrior.
Yes, and he fully admits that this album was straight donkey bullshit.
That's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say about it, man.
Yeah, I would say that I agree. This album, there's some bright spots in it in terms of the solos. There are some good solos. There are a few riffs that are either good or stolen, one of the two. And have anything else positive? It's fun, good to make fun of it. Otherwise, this album is a turd.
Turkey.
It is a baffling. It is actually, yes, a turkey. Thank you. It is a baffling career decision for a otherwise great band. And while I'm happy that they made up for it with Vanity Nemesis, which was their next album, and their album after that, which I actually uploaded it not too long ago. I uploaded the first track off their last album, their final album. If you want to play that when we do our outro, because it will just show how fucking different they are. But,
yes, I was hoping you would do something like that because I wanted our listeners to be able to like compare what they actually sound like compared to this particular album. So vastly different.
Yeah, well, their newer stuff's a little different. It's a little heavier, but surprisingly. But yeah, this album was bad, and it's like I said, it just baffles me that they decided to release this. But you know, every kind of genre has their weird, like, you know, their oddities, their stuff that you're like, I don't know why they did this. This was dumb.
Mhm.
And it's made no sense. But hey, Tom G learned from the experience, and now he knows never to play hair metal again.
I don't think he wants anything to do with the genre at all.
I don't think anybody does. Hair metal. No, thank you. But okay, we'll go ahead and move into the plug section. Jesse, what do you got for us?
Oh, my man. I tell you what, like I said, been suffering from the old pneumonia there. I started Sunday and just finally feeling better today to where I didn't have to take any, like, any type of medication to where I didn't fever out and start chilling like a villain. So what ended up happening, like I said, source material got canceled Monday. But here's the thing. I actually recorded that episode with Ronnie on Saturday. And you can probably tell when you guys listen to it that I was getting a little sick at that point in time because I started trailing off and talking about a bunch of – the good thing is I can edit that shit out. So our topic was actually a twofold. We did a double shot. Split 7, believe it or not, kind of like what you guys did. Or I should say, no, excuse me. It was Winfrey and Rattlish who did a split 7-inch on the Movie Review Club. Anyway, I talked Secret Wars issue, issue 7? Yeah, we talked Secret Wars issue 7, and we talked Back to the Future issue 2. Both of them, Secret Wars is, and Back to the Future is that particular issue is a fun book. So if you guys are interested, comic books, source material, you can find us in the archives. You can find me on Twitter at StizNarkey. You can find my show on Twitter at SourceMattCast. You can also catch me on the Cheap Seats, which I wasn't on this past Tuesday. We canceled the show because I was ill. But I co-host with Teasley. And we talked the NFL. And believe it or not, last week was the first week of the season that we actually missed. Teasley was ready to go. There was no way I could. So we're pretty consistent. So anyway, we should be back this coming Tuesday. You can check me out on Periscope at StizNarkey on there if you guys like the Periscope stuff. I try to get on there every once in a while and do some fun stuff. Tonight, I came close to videotaping, or I should say, I came close to Periscoping my son watching that TLC match between the Dudleys and the Hardys and Edge and Christian. He was flipping out all over the place just watching everybody get squashed, tables getting destroyed. He was having a good old time. So it's always fun stuff. You guys could check it out. That's all. I do want to tell you, Coop, again, thank you very much for having me on here, especially for Thanksgiving again. I know this is kind of something that we started last year, and I hope to do it again next year. It's always a pleasure to come on the Metal Hammer of Doom and talk music with you guys. One of my favorite programs on the Rattlish and Broadcasting Network. I'll even put it above my own show because I enjoy metal that much, and I enjoy coming on here and just bullshitting with you guys. It's always a lot easier to come on and co-host instead of having to host the show too. So it's got that going for it. But again, thank you, and I want to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening to us. Coop, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for having me on again. A lot of fun. I can't wait to talk the next turkey.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to roast it. Roast some turkey.
Yeah, buddy.
That'll be so much. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you for coming on. If you did not come on, I would have no one to talk to. And then that would be weird, because me talking to myself is not nearly as much fun as Steven Randall talking to himself on his podcast, because he at least has a chat room. I don't even have that. So, plugs for myself. This podcast, Metal Hammer of Doom, will be back for our final podcast of the year, as far as I'm aware. The 2012 Finnish, I think it's Finnish, or is it Swedish? I don't know. Scandinavian children's metal album, Heavy Saurus. Apparently Jesse's kids love it.
Mm-hmm. So
I am insanely stoked to review it, just because this is going to be goofy bullshit.
It'll be interesting trying to. There's not going to be much lyrical analysis there unless you can read. I think they're Swedish, I believe.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
Well, you probably find translations. They seem pretty popular.
Ooh.
But we'll have that and other podcasts. The Cooperative Multiplayer Podcast, Sean Garmer and Mark Morrison. I show up every once in a blue moon. It's on the Co-op Multi page on Spreaker.com. And then Sean Garmer's Wrestling to the Max podcast is going to be live tonight. I was going to be on there, but as it's getting later, I'm realizing I have to work at 10 for Black Friday.
Black Friday. Gosh.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to stay up all night. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't know if I want to stay up doing a podcast, because their podcasts are like 3 hours long. So like,
a lot of weapons that could, or at least things that could be used as weapons at Lowe's, and that would be my biggest concern on a Black Friday.
Actually, the biggest concern for me is the people that run out the door with the drills. Cause that's
they
a lot
run
of
out
money.
the door? They straight up stealing?
Oh yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, the biggest thing we lose money on is actually the what is it? Yeah, I think the $600 combo pack.
People just straight up walk out the door with it. Run out the door.
Oh yeah, they fucking hightail it. They are gone.
Are you responsible? You ain't the
that.
guy. You're not the guy that has to chase them, are you?
Oh no, I don't chase them. Since I'm out there, they'll occasionally try to run out the door, and I try my best to just kind of cock block them.
Hey, stop. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. With good customer service, you're like, oh, hey, can I help you find anything? Ooh, can I see your receipt for that? Or ooh, can I? Let me scan that for you. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just to get into their head or scare them off, and that usually works. If they run, you can't stop them. You can't chase them. That's how you die. And ain't nobody got time for lawsuits.
Got time for that?
No. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's like bronchitis, pneumonia. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right, damn it.
Yeah, and then finally, the Sentai Rider podcast, the Tokusatsu podcast that I haven't recorded in a year. Maybe we'll do something this winter break. My winter break is really not that long. It's like 2, maybe 3 weeks at most, because I'm missing out on the 2 extra weeks that college gets, because I have to teach school.
Oh, wow.
Which is bullshit. Such bullshit. It makes me mad. I mean, I'm excited about teaching, but fuck, that's going to suck.
Yeah.
So yeah, we keep getting likes. 2 more likes till we get to 100. Woo. Find us Facebook at facebook.com/Sentai Rider Podcast. It's SENTAIRIDER Podcast. And I think that is it. I don't remember all of Mark's plugs because he's got 14,000 podcasts that he's doing.
Just go to the website, the Facebook website, Radulich Broadcasting Network. You can stay up on top of everything that's out there. We try to post everything. So there's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, look at that. Go look at that page. That's where you'll find Mark's podcast. So, with all of that being said, of course, I am Mr. Robert Cooper. Yes, future teacher, guy with a really smashing beard. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to trim this thing up after November. So I haven't shaved at all. I have not put a razor in my face since August. So it's grizzly. I've been teaching with a Grizzly Adams beard actually, so it's impressive. So yeah, So for myself and Jesse Starcher, that guy talking there, this has been the Metal Hammer of Doom podcast, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week. So actually, I have the studio up, so I can go ahead and press play on it when I'm sign off. Sound good?
Go for it.
Fuck yeah! All right. Well, until 2 weeks, where Mark and I review Heavy Source. Be well, be safe, behave, and keep the metal faith alive.